This is Channel 5 News. In the headlines, National Security Minister questions motive of police officers who called in sick. Manufacturers await word on proposal to government for financial aid, and government funds almost 100% of projects in supplementary appropriation. I am Kenny Williams with the Channel 5 News. I'll be back with the details right after this. Thank you for staying with us. Topping the news, National Security Minister Reuben Blackmore wants answers why some police officers have reported sick with no excuse. Idona John-Baptist reports.
Police officers are reportedly staging a sick out. This follows the postponement of a salary negotiation meeting between the executive of the Police Welfare Association and government's negotiating team, which the PWA expected to take place since last Friday. Minister for Justice, Immigration and National Security, Reuben Blackmore, condemned the industrial action at Parliament on Wednesday, stating that negotiations have not broken down.
At this point, permit me to commend the police officers who showed up for work yesterday. I want to say to them that they have made us, Dominican, and the rest of the world proud.
Blackmore says any attempt by a police officer to be influenced by the rhetoric of any political party cannot be serving the best interest of the public.
And the majority of the police officers in this beautiful country, Madam Speaker, know that the Dominican Labour Party, under the leadership of the Prime Minister, has done well for the Dominican Police Force. As the Minister with responsibility for Labour, I have not been advised by the Labour Commissioner that negotiation between the government negotiating team and the police is at any, has experienced any breakdown, Madam Speaker. The question is, the 56 police officers who reported sick yesterday, Madam Speaker, what was the reason? Nowhere in this oath has said that I will serve the Dominican Labour Party or the United Workers' Party.
Channel 5 News could not reach chairman of the Police Welfare Association, Corporal Jefferson Drago, up to news time. Idona John-Baptist, Channel 5 News.
In other lead stories, the Dominica Manufacturers Association is currently waiting to hear from government on its proposal submitted 3 months ago. Andrea Louis has that story.
In December 2016, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit met with the manufacturers to get an idea from them how government can assist with moving the industry forward. He subsequently asked the association to produce a proposal to government with their challenges and recommendations. President of the Dominica Manufacturers Association says a document was presented to government in February and there are several issues which need to be addressed to develop the manufacturing sector.
In the proposal that we submitted to government for the manufacturing sector, we looked at 4 main areas. One, the possibility of making making assistance available for the development of the manufacturing sector in terms of training, and building up the infrastructure. So we're looking at the packaging plan for Dominica because you cannot really manufacture in the country and every little bottle, every little plastic bag, every wrapper that you want to use for the packaging of your product, that you have to import it.
On the matter of a proposed low-interest rate loan facility for manufacturers, Mackenzie says while this will be helpful, there are numerous other obstacles facing the association which must be ironed out.
So there are a number of things that we have actually considered in addition to the low-interest rate loans, which was the intention of government. Because our concern was it was okay to give low interest rate loans for production, but there were so many other things associated with manufacturing that needed some assistance that, they had to take into consideration. So this is where we are now. We are hoping that we'll get a favorable response.
Mackenzie says, though, that the manufacturers have already begun to receive assistance with one of the main problem areas, which is the lack of technicians to repair and maintain machinery.
But when it comes to machinery, we could almost count on one hand the number of technicians that you could approach to repair or maintain your machines for you. And for that, you find that a lot of manufacturers suffer a lot of downtime. When a machine breaks down, it stays down for some time, or they have to go for the expense of bringing in technicians from outside. Only on the part of the training, we are working with the Ministry of the Financial Secretary on this one.
On to parliamentary proceedings, government is funding with its own revenue 99% of its projects and programs in its supplemental appropriations for the financial year July 2016 to April 2017. Idona Jean-Baptiste explains.
Finance Minister Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit presented the supplementary appropriation to Parliament on Tuesday. 7 items on the schedule of supplementary appropriation received grant funding. That reflects 1% of funding through grants from the Government of Canada, European Union, United Nations Development Program, Government of Korea, and the Caribbean Development Bank. The appropriations totaled $154,694,000. $1,130,000 of that amount came from grants. Government did not take any loans for projects during the July 2016 to April 2017 period. The majority of the funds were approved for the Ministry of Finance with an amount of $53,815,000. A study for the development of an international airport will be funded under the Prime Minister's ministry.
Madam Speaker, the Government of Dominica intends to deliver on its promise of constructing an international airport. In this regard, a firm from the United States of America was engaged to conduct studies on the feasibility of this project for Dominica. The firm has reported that this project is indeed feasible. The next step is to do more detailed studies of the area to provide more specific details on the construction cost. The sum of $2,008,000 was made available to meet expenses for these initial studies.
Government has credited its Citizenship by Investment program as a major source of revenue, which has enabled it to maintain many ongoing programs and fund new projects. Meantime, government ended up transferring $258,067,000 of CBI funds to the National Bank of Dominica this year after the Royal Bank of Dominica closed government's CBI account. The Prime Minister informed Parliament in response to questions by the opposition leader that the CBI account at Royal Bank has been closed as of February 28, 2017.
The Royal Bank of Canada did not state a specific reason for not being able to maintain the account. The balance of funds as at 20th February 2017 was EC $258,067,074, and the funds have been lodged at the National Bank of Dominica.
Mr. Skerrit said from July 2016 to March 2017, $396,876,000 were deposited in government CBI account, with the highest amount deposited being $72,370,000 in August 2016. Idona Jean-Baptiste, Channel 5 News.
In other developments, reporters were expelled from the premises of Parliament on Tuesday on the basis that they did not have accreditation to cover parliamentary proceedings, and some were not properly attired to do so.
When Channel 5 News sought to clarify a request by newly appointed Clerk of the House of Assembly Daniel James for reporters to leave the grounds of Parliament, we were told Marpin's news team is allowed to be there. Reporters were cut short from taking photos and trying to source interviews while they stood in the corridor of the House of Assembly before the start of parliamentary proceedings on Tuesday because James informed them they had to leave. When reporters asked the reason for him doing so, they were told they were uninvited. A mapping camera operator and reporter amongst the group at the time adhered to the instruction and left. However, Channel 5 News was later informed there are no restrictions on mapping. We learned that news reporters have to be accredited, but even if they are, they must also be properly attired. It's for that reason, according to the source from the office of the House of Assembly, that some reporters were disallowed from entering Parliament. One of the news reporters spoke to Channel 5 News about the incident.
I know other years that hasn't been the case. I showed him my ID, I showed him everything, and then he said, no, we cannot enter. He asked that everyone leave the premises where the officials are entering. We cannot stand there, we cannot take pictures. We need to get outside of the gate in order to take any pictures and photos and conduct any interviews. But basically, he just said we cannot get into Parliament. If we'd like to cover Parliament, we'd have to do a live listen or listen via live coverage.
Channel 5 News was told the instructions were for DNO and DA Vibes media personnel. James, according to the source, informed the reporters who were not dressed appropriately. James was sworn in as the clerk of the House when Parliament convened on Tuesday. He is the first male clerk since the country's independence.
Coming up, primary school children prepare to write their biggest end-of-year exam yet. Stay with us. Welcome back. The government of China says it is willing to provide assistance for training Dominica's healthcare workers. Chinese ambassador, His Excellency Lu Kun, was speaking at the site of the new National Hospital project in Goodwill last week. At the completion of the project's first phase, the facility is expected to have an MRI machine. The ambassador said his government is willing to provide a specialist related to the operation of MRI machines.
In the future, if you need the MRI specialist training, you just ask him for the Chinese concerning this area, MRI specialists come here to this new hospital for the training also here. Sure. The on-the-spot training. It's also, we just put forward to the Chinese government. Sure. We will arrange all the Chinese medical specialists you need to arrange for here, okay?
In other news, a former minister in the Trinidad government will offer solutions for dealing with financial crisis around the region when UE Dominica hosts its final lecture for this academic year. Dr. Emily Dickford, who is head of the Program Planning Department from the UE Open Campus in Trinidad, will present on the topic a solutions-oriented perspective on the persistence of financial crisis in the Caribbean. The 10th annual UE National Distinguished Lecture will be hosted in collaboration with the National Bank of Dominica on Thursday night.
Essentially, she will be examining the financial issues and financial woes that the Caribbean and, well, the world has been experiencing over the last 10 years. And she will show, using concrete examples from the Caribbean, that some of the decisions that were made by particular institutions have led to their downfall. And she will show also that institutions, both large and small, in the Caribbean can survive and have been surviving. And she'll provide steps to show how our corporations and institutions in the Caribbean can succeed and can remain afloat, even though we are still in challenging times.
The lecture will be held at the Fort Young Hotel from 7 p.m. on Thursday. And finally, just over 1,000 pupils will take to 53 exam centers around the island on Thursday and Friday for the annual Grade 6 National Assessment. The Ministry of Education is reporting a 6% drop in children who are writing exams this year, as the total number is 1,010, comprising 479 girls and 531 boys, compared to 1,080 who wrote the exams last year. Education Officer for Measurement Candia Robinson, says the decrease in numbers has been a regular feature over the years, and there are several reasons why the number of pupils writing the exams drops.
Last year we had 1,086 registered, but it's only 1,080 who actually wrote it. So this year we have 1,010. We are not too sure as to how many will actually write the exam, because although we may have some that are registered, there is always a possibility that some may actually not do the exam. It happens. There are different reasons. Some they may have migrated and we did not get that information early enough. So there are different reasons why we may get absenteeism. It has been going on for a while. As it has been going on, they have less and less children attending schools. So it means that our population is declining. People are making less and less children.
4 papers will be written in the next 2 days, and Robinson is reporting that a change has been made to the time allotted to the first exam on Thursday.
Tomorrow we have language paper 1, which is a 60 multiple choice paper, and they will do that in 90 minutes as opposed to 75 minutes before. We felt that they needed more time, especially to read the comprehension passages. So they'll be doing that in 90 minutes. And then they have a paper 2, which is the writing composition part, where they have about 45 minutes to write on a topic that they feel comfortable with. And then after break, they have social studies, or social sciences, as it is now called. And then on Friday, we have maths and science.
Robinson is also cautioning parents to refrain from pressuring their children in the time leading up to the exam.
I think most times it's the parents that we maybe have to give some advice and tell them, take it easy. Do not frustrate the children, because a lot of times they put a lot of pressure on the children, and there have been issues where children will go into the examination room and they will get cold sweats, or they'll be nervous. That will allow them to make mistakes and not perform as well as they should.
That's news. Stay tuned for your sports highlights next. First up in sports, Dominica and St. Vincent played to a draw in the Windward Islands Senior Men's Tournament on Wednesday. Batting first, Dominica was all out for 256 in 81.2 overs. Liam Sebastian, 64, Alec Athanas, 45, Jelani Robinson, 44, Tyron Theophil, 24, Koshaski John Lewis and Gian Benjamin added 24 each. Bowling for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ray Jordan took 3 for 44, Kenneth Dember 3 for 87. In reply, St. Vincent scored 103 all-out in 40.5 overs. Donwell Hector, 29, and Gidron Pope, 21. Mervyn Matthew picked up 4 for 24, and Cavem Hodge, 3 for 23. Batting a second time, St. Vincent reached 285 for 6. Miles Bascom had an unbeaten 103, Sonal Ambrose 80, and Gidron Pope 67. Cavem Hodge picked up 2 for 86, and Tyrone Theophil 2 for 58. Meantime, St. Mary's Academy defeated Pierre Charles Secondary by an innings and 160 runs in the First Division Secondary Schools Under-15 Cricket Tournament on Tuesday. SMA batted first and declared on 231 for 6. Sachin Thomas added 86 runs, Majid Peltier 48, K. Phillip 34, and Ajanim Tavernier 18. A. Lockhart picked up 2 for 90. In reply, PCSS was bowled out for 40, Tyrese LeBlanc took 3 for 1, K. Phillip 3 for 13, and Majid Peltier 2 for 8. Following on, PCSS was again bowled out for an even lower total, reaching 31. Tyrese LeBlanc and Ajanim Tavernier was a menace for the PCSS batting side, taking 4 for 4 and 4 for 11 respectively. Next up, basketball action returns to St. Joseph after a long while following recent improvements to the court there. At 7 p.m., PSC Falcons 2 will come up against Hurricanes, followed by Lindo Park X-Men versus Old School at 9 p.m. Ahead of Thursday's games, Parliamentary Representative for St. Joseph, Honorable Kelva Daru, in collaboration with the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association, made some upgrades to the court, which included lighting, marking, and power washing work. This will be the first time since 2015 that the DABA match was played there. Sports continues with volleyball, where momentum is building as the male and female national teams prepare for the World Volleyball Championships carried for Antigua in July. They have been training for the past 8 months under the leadership of Jeffrey Edmond and Erickson LeBlanc. Last September, the Volleyball Association here embarked on a journey to use a statistical approach to training, which provided the platform for an improved quality of play. Captain of the men's national team says this new approach has been rewarding.
That's a drastic change compared to, I think, we normally did about 2 to 3 months maximum, sometimes even like 1.5, 2 months. So it's a lot different. We have a number of new players, so I think that helped the players because they have more time to improve and to learn the game. But really, I think the really critical aspect of the game that was improved is our physical abilities, or jumping abilities, or ability to move on the court, to get to loose balls, to block, and do the basics of volleyball.
He says while this approach has its benefits, there have been some notable drawbacks.
Because of the long training sessions, it can also take its toll on the athletes as well. I mean, there's plus and minuses for everything. So I think the extended training period, some of the athletes, it took its toll on them, but we are in good spirits, we're in great shape. Really, I'm looking forward to the tournament. It should be in the next month or so, month and a half. I'm looking forward to seeing Dominica advance to the 3rd round, where we'll be playing the big guns like the United States and Canada, Puerto Rico.
Meantime, newcomer to the national squad, Kershaski John Luis, says transitioning from cricket to volleyball has been the greatest challenge during training.
The whole form of play, it's a different game. It's a more fast-paced game, a lot more jumping, a lot more focus, and yeah, that has been the most challenging part. Transitioning from the longer form of the game to this shortened format there. But I have, like I said, I have been doing pretty well, and I think I adapted really well. Well, me actually being here right now, down to the final stages, that says a lot. So I am pretty confident, and I think that I have been doing pretty well. If I wasn't improving in my game, I would not be here tonight. So close to a tournament coming at the end of the month. So I think that I have been doing pretty well, and I am satisfied, but I still have a long way to go, to be honest, and I am really working hard. So let's hope it just pays off in the end.
The male and female teams will leave for Antigua the week of July 7. The national teams are in Group E with Antigua and St. Vincent. Dominica is ranked number 2 in the region, with St. Lucia being number 1. In football, 3 matches are scheduled in the DFA Dominic Women's League over the weekend.
On Saturday, defending champions and league leaders, New India Goodwill Runners, will be looking to maintain their lead at the top of the points table when they take on Mahosoka Strikettes at 4 p.m. at the Stock Farm Complex, while at the Benjamin Park it will be Bombers Starlights versus West Coast Jaguars from 6 p.m. In the only match on Sunday, second place team New Generation Sports Club will battle Dive Dominica Harlem United at the Stock Farm Complex at 4 p.m.
On to international cricket. England skipper Owen Morgan led from the front with a century to give his team that competitive edge to defeat South Africa by 72 runs in the first ODI on Wednesday. Batting first, England reached 339 for 6. Morgan smashed 107, while Moeen Ali supported with 77 and Alex Hales 61. Set 340 to win, South Africa was bowled out for 267 in 45 overs. Asim Amla contributed 73 and Faf du Plessis 67. Chris Wokes picked up 4 for 38 for England. That's all the sporting highlights for now. Join us next time. Stay tuned for your midweek weather forecast.
Good evening, Dominica, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery and what it showed. This area of convection associated with some high-level moisture across the region during today. Now, taking a look at earlier visible satellite imagery and what it showed. Some dense high-level clouds across the central portion of the region during most of the day. Now, taking a look at earlier radar imagery and what it indicated. A relative absence of shower activity across most of the region during today. Now, tonight's weather is expected to be fair to partly cloudy, hazy and occasionally breezy with a few brief isolated showers. These conditions are expected to continue into tomorrow. Temperatures expected to peak up to 32 degrees Celsius. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate in open water with waves peaking near 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers, you're advised to exercise some caution. Looking ahead to the next 3 days, fair to partly cloudy skies, with few isolated showers can be expected on Thursday and Friday. However, as we move into Saturday, a slight increase in cloudiness and scattered showers can be expected. Also, a decrease in wind speeds can be expected as we move into Friday and Saturday. For the rest of the Caribbean tomorrow, fair to partly cloudy skies, with few isolated showers can be expected across the central and southern portion of the region, with an increase in cloudiness and scattered showers expected across the extreme north. Our international cities forecast: some rain expected in New York, some showers and thunderstorms expected in Miami, with clear skies expected in London, Caracas, and Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:34 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:31 p.m. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit the website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. National Security Minister questions motive of police officers who called in sick. Manufacturers await word on proposal to government for financial aid, and government funds almost 100% of projects in supplementary appropriation. Feel free to contact us at news@mapin2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Kenny Williams. To all viewers around the world, we thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.